A hard slog, but Liquid prevail. It was none other than NaVi who chose to take Mirage, but Liquid managed to take it all the same. A back and forth game all the way. I feel like I've lost years off of my life expectancy, but eventually Liquid managed to overcome the odds, overcome the players of the NaVi side, and now go into their map pick with a 1-0 lead, looking to close it out and do so with a seamless record here in the Legends stage. Do have Pimp and Sean Gers joining me. Guys, to understand that one, I mean, we have to start, I guess, at the very beginning. They did get tested right out of the gates. NaVi did manage to get 6 rounds on their T side.
Yeah, I thought they had Liquid in a spot where they could take the map, right? I was surprised to see Twist in the B bomb site, to be honest. Stewie playing the A bomb site. That's not what we typically see out of Liquid, or we had in the past. So I like the fact that, you know, they brought in a new player and they give him the roles that he's comfortable with. Stewie had a lot of key rounds towards that A site. But I think the man of that first half had to be Flamey. So many multi-kills coming out of it.
That Deagle round in particular was ridiculous.
I definitely agree. I think NaVi were playing a great game. We even talked about it down in the green room as well. The fact that NaVi sometimes puts the game to sleep. They're playing so slow, so methodically. They're just waiting for the mistakes to be made by Liquid. And sometimes you do fall asleep by watching them, but that's when NaVi strikes. That's when they're coming in with a curveball. That's when they're putting up the pace. That's when Flamey come in, having some great actions, and also Symbol, again, you know, having some impact with the AWP. So overall, close game, close affair. Both teams had great on this one, but Liquid were just a tiny bit better.
But that's what I find so interesting. I mean, we can continue to reflect on the game. This is the round, of course, Flamey securing with very low buy, but NaVi, you described them as a team that kind of sucks the life force from you. You're using these words like fall asleep. I mean, clearly, very talented roster with hitting their shots, but how can they get away with this style then? Is this something that's unique to NaVi in the sense that they do exploit your weaknesses in a way that I don't know if many other teams can?
Yeah, they just move so slowly across the map. They feel out that you're in a default setup. So, you know, 2 towards the A site, 1 like holding by the jungle area, and 2 towards B. And then they just slowly siege on a site, and it's just so difficult to hold. But their CT sides are also what impressed me this game. I thought they did such a good job holding the B hits of Liquid early. I thought Liquid's goal coming into this match was clearly to try to bully Zeus at the B bomb site. Pissed around. Second round eco that they lost to Flamey, the first gun round, the second gun round, they just kept hitting the B site. And it wasn't until they went to the A site that, you know, they started to get a little bit more success. So
NaVi have worked out a way to punish people that decide to try and punish Zeus.
Yes.
The reverse punish, I suppose, if we're going that way. What is your expectations for this next map? I know we have got another interview standing by. I don't know if it is ready, but I do want to be talking about Nuke when we do eventually have that opportunity.
Yeah, I do believe next map is going to be Dust2 actually.
Wait, why do I think it's Nuke? I've been saying this the whole time.
Map, right?
Third map.
So it could potentially come out to a Nuke. I don't think it will though. I think Liquid coming into Dust2, that's the bread and butter. That's where Liquid thrives well, especially considering the adding of Stewie 2K to the lineup. I think he's a great Dust2 player, and I think that adds another dynamic to the way that Liquid can play. Dust2 is one of those maps where you want momentum, you can at least play it fast paced, you know, and that's where we're going to see the difference between Liquid and NaVi as well. NaVi, once again, they're going to suck life out of Liquid. They're going to make sure that it's going to be slow, it's going to be methodical on the T side, whereas I believe Liquid, they will come out as fast as possible and try to put some momentum towards their own gameplay.
We'll be focusing on Dust2. Sorry, Sean, to cut you off. I want to make sure we can hear this interview in its full extent, but I do want to talk about Dust2. Lots of questions surrounding what NaVi are going to be doing on that map versus Liquid, but let's go ahead and have an interview after that first map success from Liquid.
Stewie, Liquid left that down to the wire, but you did manage to pull through without going to OT. How was that game for you?
It was a little irritating at the start just because we got eco'd, and I think that's kind of uncharacteristic from us. And they picked a lot of good reads. They had a lot of good gambles, and even the last round they had a lot A, and somehow we pulled through. I think we're just playing a little better than them in terms of team play and not being in a rush or being too hasty to make decisions. And I think we played better than them on Mirage.
It felt like, though, you needed to really get aggressive towards the end to actually overcome NaVi, though. Why did you leave it so late to take that decision?
I think we just kind of play off feel and trying to make them make the mistake, and they weren't making the mistakes. And even during the pause, actually, Dren said that we're playing too slow mid-round, and it's going in their favor, so let's try picking up the pace and let's try playing faster, and that's what we did.
And it really worked for you. So let's talk about Dust2. Your map pick coming up next. What can we expect? What can we expect, in fact?
Another good game, hopefully. These guys played them in Dust2 in the past, and they're pretty comfortable against them. So I think we're just going in there with a clear mind and just playing our own game.
Well, let's see if your own game works for you very shortly, Stewie. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Picking up the pace, that's Dust2 there with Frankie. And I mean, Dust2, there's plenty of room to be picking up the pace if they want to carry that philosophy over. Sorry to cut you off, Sean. Dust2.
No worries. Liquid in the past has been very aggressive towards that B site. When Taco was on that lurk roll, he would solo pick into the B bomb site. Now I'm curious if Stewie is going to take over that role in this new Liquid team, or if they're going to remodel their whole T side. Maybe Stewie did mention going fast pace, maybe a lot of early long hits, a lot of fast mid Bs, a lot of fast cats. That's what I'm interested in seeing right now.
We have seen Liquid play Dust2 twice with this lineup, once against Fnatic and once against Astralis. Both matches were a win for Team Liquid, a 16-11 against Astralis, who is the best team in the world, and a 16-9 win against Fnatic, who's not a bad Dust2 team either. Huh? So they have already showcased that with Stewie2K on the lineup and with Adrian as a coach, they know how to play Dust2. And as I said before, I think it's going to be a great contrast of styles. The T side of Dust2, it can be played fast, but it can also be played slow. So we're going to see two different styles coming out from these teams.
No, there's no doubt about that. I question though, and perhaps a newbie one at that, Dust2, it's prolific for being so powerful for a CT-sided AWPer. Double AWPs, even a conversation how that some of the best teams in the world thrive because of their proficient double AWP. Liquid struggle to field one proficient AWPer. Of course, they have Nitro on it. Is that going to affect them? Is that going to be a conversation worth having?
I think it's a conversation worth having, but I don't think it's going to be a problem from Team Liquid. I believe that their primary AWPer, which is Nitro, is not the best AWPer on the team even. So you have Stewie2K coming in and he can pick up that secondary AWP. You saw it in MIBR sometimes. You have seen it on Cloud9 as well. He's very proficient with the AWP, and I think that's going to be a great asset for Liquid having on a map like Dust2. It's a great point, Alex.
I didn't even think about that. Stewie2K does bring something extra.
Even Twist, actually. When you watch Twist pick up the secondary AWP, he'll do it sometimes on Mirage. He'll do it sometimes, I believe, on Inferno. He is very, very strong with that AWP, so I think Liquid can run double ops on Dust2 very well, actually.
Yeah, and we'll see how if they run into, as you can see there underneath, Unreal Shape from Flamey. That's LMBT, of course. Used to seeing him on stages like this, not to be this time, but it is, of course, insane shots from Flamey. I mean, this is 2 days in a row that we have seen performance out of their player, and it's not Simple. You know, Simple wasn't actually as much of a conversation as he usually is on analyst desks after that map.
No, and it's not necessarily a problem when Flamey is showing up like he is right now. What is a little bit of a problem for NaVi is the fact that Electronic haven't really hit his stride yet. Yeah. He's being promised and he's being praised for being the second best player on this NaVi lineup. Maybe we didn't give him enough credit last year for his performance, but this time around, in this tournament so far, he hasn't really been living up to that hype. So if NaVi want to have a chance of taking this map off Liquid, they need to have not only Flamey and Simple performing, Electronic need to step up as well and be effective.
We have to see the trio from NaVi deliver, or Liquid will close this out 2-0. That's our analyst thoughts. We'll see what our casters are saying. Sponge, Stunner, over to you.
Thanks very much, fellas. Yes, there are a lot of implications going to this matchup. Playoffs being one, not being on the side of the bracket of Astralis being the other. Two very hard-hitting points, but as the first map does go to Team Liquid, pistol round being underway here. Starting on the T side will be NaVi, and they're going to be out mid with a Fury. Very quick-paced round.
The cat approach here from Liquid means they can flank very fast, but that's going to be a problem. As Electronic gets one, he'll be traded out. Now the mid to B is on, and Nitro steps up with one, almost grabs the second. Frags are going down everywhere, and now Simple left, last alive in a 1-on-4 with 1:20 left on the clock.
Yeah, it's been a very, very quick round. In fact, the bomb couldn't be down in a worse spot. If he plants it somehow, some way, that will be just a little bit of success, but in this notion, he's got an army of Liquid against him. 1v4, and they know exactly where he is. He finds first kill on the Stewie. That's the first step, potentially putting this round in the bag. Mind you, Nitro is very low. 2 HP to be exact, and he does have the kit on him. You can tell he's not wanting to peek. He's not wanting to really show face here, as that kit is going to potentially be used later in this round.
Just
Chad.
to talk you through Simple's mindset right here, he knew he had to get a kill before he could pick up that bomb. You want to isolate and get 1v1 duels. Stewie actually offered himself up on a silver platter right there. Now, Simple with the bomb and plenty of time to work with is forcing the CTs to look for information and potentially go for a play. You can see that all three members are over towards this B bomb site, and Simple is stuck around.
Yeah, and him grabbing that bomb does kind of put the wonders there, but they've spotted him now. 27 seconds left on the clock. He tried to do a little bit of a fake plant there and elected to go for the peak. Did not prove to be fruitful. And Liquid will be picking up this first round. A CT pistol going their way. And very much in the right foot for Liquid.
Yeah, well, that's a much faster pace coming out there from NaVi than what we saw in the first map. Most of their rounds were quite slow and spread out. Had a couple of direct approaches with Execute. So let's see right now if they want to go for the 4-spy or if they do just want to take a save. Liquid have fully invested. Scout in the hands of NAF, UMP for a Liege. Famous for Stewie. MP5 for Twists and an MP9 for Nitro. So everybody's sporting a bit of a different weapon right now as the Ts will upgrade just a couple of pistols. We saw what Flamey did on the CT side with their Force Buy.
Indeed, we saw what Flamey did last map. In fact, putting quite the hurt on Team Liquid. And in this motion, he does have a P250 to his name, but yet to get on the board in terms of fragging. However, NaVi having worked their way up middle, now on the catwalk slowly but surely, unless they traverse and try to hit this mid player with force.
Just a second earlier, and that grenade would have tagged on 3 players. Simple walks out mid, gets taken down by Stewie. Now they have to win the duels with the Deagles over towards Cap, but Stewie grabs another frag. The bomb is dropped right now. The attack will be over towards A. Electronic gets chunked down. Edward with a bullet astray.
Yeah, and for what this has started to unfold, can't find much success there. Getting picked apart one by one. NAF with the scout kill, leaving Electronic and Flamey on their lonesome. And when I say that, I mean just Electronic. 2 HP, a Deagle in hand, and is kind of caught in catwalk. He can't get the kill here on Stewie with pretty much ease. Stewie wasn't expecting to be that far back. But Nitro will round this one out in Liquid's favor, and they're going to triumph on with a second round on the board.
Pretty clean round there from Liquid, only losing 1 man in Stewie. They will scavenge that Famis across the board. And now the gun round will come in from NaVi. So the interesting buy from Liquid in the second means that hopefully they go for more of an aggressive move. That UMP is going to need to be in a tighter choke point, same with the MP5. The scout from NAF can be very, I guess, hampering, because if it gets a tag, it puts players down to 30 HP, and it means they have to, you know, take situations a little bit differently.
The thing is now, head armor has come into play for the side of NaVi. So yes, he might have that scout, but he's going to have to start aiming for those dome pieces if he really wants to end them out early on.
Just to know, Edward has gone for the UMP with a bit of utility behind it, which means that he needs to get the basics done with the protocols. Right now, Electronic close to the mid doors will have a big jewel in his hands. There is a player towards CT spawn of Elige, and Nitro over towards the B double doors. A nice crossfire setup as close mid presence has been cleared. Now to take catwalk. 1 piece of territory at a time.
Slowly but surely. They do have that catwalk control, as Chad said.
Lots of pressure on NAF here with that scout.
That's right, and the smoke is going to give them just a little more room to run. It does kind of give them that wiggle room to perhaps advance up catwalk just a little bit more. And they do find 4 members there alive for NaVi on the catwalk. And well, as this round still holding tight, Twist that long player, and Sponge over there
having a giggle because we can see how focused NAF is right there. But now we're back into the game, and the set piece from catwalk is about to come out. The smoke grenades are in hand, and this Molotov is going to delay the hit.
Yeah, now just a second later, perhaps those grenades would have went flying, but that's just not the story as it's told. 30 seconds left on the clock. NaVi now have a very important decision to make, and they have made it. They're going to commit to this A hit. They have given themselves just enough smokes to get off a catwalk, but that flashbang from Liquid will be the thorn in the side. Simple with an amazing shot here onto Elige. Naf's got one of his own. Zeus is going to be the victim. And now they do have the site. They will get that bomb planted, and that's put the pressure back on Liquid to retake this round and this bomb site in A. Stewie working his way over towards elevator. Hasn't quite spotted any heads yet, but Naf staying alive with that scout. Really proving to be enough, but not nearly enough for the tag team that is Simple and Edward. This one's now come up to Naf. That scout has already been proven to have a volatile track record in his hand, and we're going to see what he can do with it. A big kill there onto Simple. This will be an important frag, but no kit. You're right, Chad.
He just grabbed it. He could sit this. He's just
He really could.
balls
Electronic
of steel.
has fully committed, and the timing is there, and he does it just like that. NavFly flying home with the round.
He doesn't even blink. Look at him, nonchalant about the whole situation. Yeah, I just sat a defuse on one-on-one against Electronic on our map pick in the best of 3 to put us through to the opposite side of the bracket to Australis.
And you know why, Chad? It's because pros don't fake.
Well, that's not true.
That is, yeah, you're right. But in this notion,
Makes a good bumper sticker, though.
it's not bad. It's not bad as we look ahead now. Og's out in full force, of course, and Nitro with the SMG.
Whose Og is this?
What?
That's a Rambo meme
Oh, sorry, man.
from back in the day.
Oh.
Anyway, it's going to be a B pounce right now. They push
at
for the
that.
molly. They want to attack. Stewie from the window gets one. Nitro's going to get another. Trades are quite even as we have a 3-on-3 now. Flamey in a pivotal position. Has to stop the rotation. Will do so. Put down to 4 HP. Now the remaining CTs are NaV and Twist. They have to be very diligent, clearing with grenades, making sure that Flamey isn't stuck too close. It's going to be a difficult retake right now, and they're going to opt to save.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They don't have a choice. The Avenue's approach for retaking that B bomb site would have not favored that at all. In fact, the kit being there on NaV with the AWP, yes, they did have 2 Molotovs, 2 flashes, just not really worth the fight. It's going to be NaVi taking their first round here, 3-1. And perhaps Liquid can situate themselves for this fight that's going to be towards T-spawn. Look at this, caught them all out in the open, pants down and everything. Twist finds 2. And even though they have conceded the round, they have cost a considerable amount of damage as Twist finds a 3rd. And you can see the disgust and anguish there on Flamey's face.
Not happy about that one at all.
He could feel that one deep down within.
That's a frustrating way for Flamey to go there, because you can see the money situation right now. It hasn't been built, even though NaVi were able to get around on the board. They will be able to reinvest, but they're not going to have a lot of utility. Some compromises have to be made. We can see a Galil being picked up in the hands of Electronic. And that was a quicker approach from NaVi. Let's see what they opt to go for this time round. As Flamey actually made it all the way out long already. Has Blue been control? NaV is holding from the top of A. So once again, another AWPer for the team. This time NaV will have the gun in hand. Simple takes a duel. Information will be thrown on out that there is aggression from Catwalk. But it is just a slower, more posturing approach.
Right. They haven't been challenged on long at all, so they have to have the heads up that Liquid are playing on Catwalk, which is exactly the case. And in this case, it's going to be Nitro playing that close angle there towards the mid doors with the CZ. Now that could very well be a viable option, all things considered. We do know the damage that the CZ can deliver.
Here's the thing though, Trace. Right now, with only 1 smoke, they don't even have what they need to do a proper long cross. So long doesn't really become an avenue where they feel they can take a duel.
Right. But this Xbox smoke, now that's a different story.
Yeah, but they're getting close cat, and you've already alluded to the fact that the setup they have means that people are playing close cat. On the Xbox, they'll be waiting. The smoke's going to clear, and then they're going to pivot up. Flash comes out. At least he's going to get ahead of it. He's going to grab one. Doesn't get out of dodge because Electronic's going to be there, and Twist tries to swing. He gets nothing done. NaV into the blender as well.
Just keep feeding them, and that's exactly the story that will be told for that Catwalk battle. As NaVi have now successfully found their way into this A bomb site, leaving Stewie and Nitro alone. Perhaps they can salvage some weapons for what was otherwise a fight that never really went their way.
It looked like a good setup, and they felt like they were in the right position to take advantage of the slower play, the cat aggression. 3 members there, but none able to land a shot. Over on that B stream, right now, the elimination game between NRG and Complexity on Nuke, the first map, the pick of NRG. They're now in double OT. Complexity are not going down without a fight.
OT, OT, baby. That's what you got over there on the B stream. But here, well, we're just trying to send some teams on through the playoffs to join Astralis. Opposing side of the bracket, very important note. Yes, there is a playoff contention here, but nobody really wants to face Astralis in the playoffs.
No, if you can avoid them for as long as possible, that means you have a greater likelihood of making it to the grand final. I also think another thing that needs to be stated is if you do make it through 3-0 in this stage, and you are one of the returning legend teams, which Astralis, Liquid, and NaVi all are, you don't have to show too much, right? You go through 2-0 here, you've won 2 games in best of 1s. You think about Liquid's case, they played Overpass twice. Dust2 will be played once, and Mirage potentially once, and for them, that's all they've shown in this tournament thus far. So lots of pocket strats, lots to maneuver with as they progress in the champions bracket.
Well, even more than that, they're going to get a considerable amount of time to kind of reflect on maybe the woes or the trials and tribulations that they did experience at this stage. I mean, with all that time for preparation, they should come into this next stage very heavy-handed. Stewie 2K, known for his heavy hand, but this time it's a little too heavy. Zeus finding his first frag of the game. He's going to be taking him out. That Catwalk aggression didn't prove to be fruitful there for young Stewart.
And the only gun they had, so right now, anything they had to defend with has been completely blown to smithereens as 2 USPs. A P250 and a CZ in the hands of Nitro, who's already bleeding out. Wait, I mentioned the fact the gun's gone, but Twist is going to get lucky enough to pick it up from the ramp. If there's anybody in the hands of Liquid that I want to have that gun, it is Twist. He's an absolute beast.
That's right, Chad. Finders keepers. Twist grabbing that weapon, and well, with a minute left in the round, this bomb has not been planted yet. In fact, they're not even really towards any of the sites. We do have a uneven strength so far, and Nitro's still in the CZ.
There's no way for anybody on Liquid to really play for info with this setup, though, unless they want to push up a dark.
Yeah, and having obviously decided to play 2 members inside of B. The only person playing over there right now would, in fact, be Flamey. But he's going to go ahead and transition out as well, going towards lower B. This looks like they want to work their way up catwalk. Perhaps this doesn't go well. They do have that option to run the mid to B, but time has dwindled down again. And it does look like the fight is going to go in the way of Simple to kick things off, and Edward has, in fact, burned himself to a crisp. Electronic with a kill, still keeping things favorable here for NaVi. Flamey making sure that the backlines are secure. Naf with the P250 and the Dream. But that Dream has turned into a nightmare for what a round that NaVi have picked up.
That almost went so wrong. Edward missed that Molotov, which meant nobody else could push up from catwalk. He died to his own Molotov there in the classic 1G.
The classic 1G, I think, yeah, you nailed it. You said you don't like pop culture. You don't know it. Say you don't like the memes. You don't know them. But you have nailed that one, Chad.
Summit's about as hip as me, so...
Yeah, you guys are some cool cats. Cool as cucumbers, some might even say.
Swear.
And if you look at this, AUG Strike back out in full effect here for Team Liquid, having 5 of them over on their side. Now, again, and we've said this over and over, but Liquid, a team that full of sharpshooters, isn't someone that you want to really take heads-up duels with. And if they found that comfort and that rhythm with these AUGs, that might just be the kryptonite here for NaVi, as they have stacked just a little bit of money over on their side. 3-3 the score. If you're joining us from work, thank you very much. And I hope your boss doesn't find out. And if he does, tell him we said hello. But now, NaVi holding this mid area. We're going to go ahead and get Simple to peek out there and try to find something, get something going. And he actually does a considerable amount of damage onto Elige. Almost enough for them to commit to it, but not getting that kill is going to have them back away. They don't want to find themselves pinched there in the middle, Chad.
What's important here is they've cleared the close mid door, which means they can now swing between cat and mid a lot easier. So when they want to posture, when they want to fake, it means that the guys from Liquid and the B bomb site, which is Stewie and Nitro, can't just run across mid. They have to be very scared. They have to use utility and be ready for heads-up duels. So these mid to B smokes right now, just misdirection.
Yeah, and they still love to go up this catwalk. Look at this weird sort of exchange that's about to go down here. Nitro and Electronic hanging out on either side of the smoke. We will see who first, and it will be Nitro that comes out on top in that duel. Now, 1 member less. NaVi having to commit to this catwalk. 25 seconds on the clock. Flamey hitting a really, really important shot there. And they're going to keep the ball rolling, even though Naf has found a reply onto Simple. 3 alive on the side of Liquid, 3 alive on the side of NaVi, with the bomb planted in the A bomb site. It looks like they want to go for this, Chad.
Twist position is really important. They know the players are contained to cat and site. That means the retake can come up through CT spawn from Nitro and Stewie, with Twist making sure nobody is playing on that goose position. As they step on up, Flamey spots the head. He's going to duck on down. So much pressure on here as they've managed to make it towards the ramp. Nitro's going to make 1 frag. Second from Stewie is not to be done as Flamey. He takes down Stewie, but in the blink of an eye, Twist and Nitro finish it off. The defuse will come in.
I didn't see a kit.
They don't have a kit.
It's going to be a close one.
It's going to be tight like a tiger.
Tight like a tiger. And it does look like they got it. My goodness, Chad. That was close, I think.
That's a definite nail-biter right there. There's a couple of phrases we'd use for that one down under, but...
down under meaning Australia, right?
Yeah, they're suitable only in that part of the world, so...
Yeah, I've learned you guys have a very varied vocabulary. I think I'd fit in down there.
I think it's unique is the best way to describe us.
That's very appropriate. And yeah, the boys of Liquid putting another round on the board here. A very important one. Off in the hands of Naf will now have a challenge in Simple. Known for his offensive abilities, and well, for now, looks like they're going to take this fight out long A. Flamey's going to come out the victor. Twist the first casualty. Elige is going to get the fight as well, not before he falls to the hands of Zeus.
Bit of a one-way there, allowing Zeus to get that kill onto Elige, but they need to re-aggress towards long. This isn't a part of the map that they can lose. You can see Naf right now with a partner in crime, pushing on down to take control. Now they have the information, but B-bomb site has been left completely open, and there is a player towards the blue bin. Do they even suspect this? Naf must know this is a position, but he just seems completely unaware as Zeus is going to hit an absolute banger.
That was a banger, Chad. 2 bulleters. Never want to be on the receiving end of it, but Nitro's got something to say about it. And for all the scoping power that Stewie 2K had there, it simply was not enough. And now Nitro on his lonesome is just going to try to save what he can. And there's an op there for him to do so. Now, Counter-Strike in 2019, would not be surprised to see that op thrown over the wall, left on the ground in exchange for the Krieg. Chad, thoughts?
Let's not perpetuate that. I like this
I'm
change.
just saying
I don't.
it's a chance, okay?
Well, there's definitely a chance, but right now there's obviously a lot of talk about these scoped weapons in CSGO. People aren't liking it, and I think the price point definitely has to change.
That's for a different time, but I was just saying.
I get a lull right now. You know, there's a little lull in gameplay.
There was a great man that once said, typing LOL, capital L-U-L, is the equivalent of dabbing online.
Rufflecopter.
Do you agree with that man, Chad?
Nope.
Well, that man goes by the name of Carmack.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, I happen to agree with him in that sentiment. And well, it would appear as though Liquid and NaVi, having rounded out the score lines here.
Money broken.
Money broken, everything's shot. And, well, Liquid only going to have that op saved by Nitro in the last round. Actually, some weaponry coming out. 2 Deagles so far and a Scout, a Twist, and a CZ.
Both these teams are really keen to force behind any saved weapons because they know the individuals are able to make miracles happen. So, buying what they can. Nitro with the AWP has to be the spearhead, but he's not playing a forward position. He's just sitting at the car towards A right now. It's actually Twist and Elige who are close up catwalk. And a lot of pressure on Stewie2K, who's at the backer platform with a Scout right now. He's on an island, so if they were to attack that site, he's going to be left alone.
Now, this could prove to be a pretty good idea by Liquid. They know they've been getting abused on this catwalk area, and when they're grouping up, you can see that they have a player playing more anti-flash, and they're ready to take that fight. Last time they took it, though, didn't necessarily pan out for them. In fact, it went the complete wrong way.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a story of redemption to be held here. Sort of like Simple holding this angle, just waiting for Liquid to give him that opportunity. All intents and purposes, doesn't happen. Zeus is there to save the day, though. Simple misses his first shot. And now, some sort of weird something has transpired, Chad.
In a bit of limbo right now because they know that there are more players towards catwalk. They're not in a rush to take the duel. Utility has been put in place to stifle the progression. 40 seconds left on the clock. They know that there's the saved AWP, but it hasn't moved so far. Nitro is still over towards the car position. As NaVi have to wait for the mid-round call of Zeus to come in. Electronic's going to go down over towards that B bomb site. And I think this is going to force their hand towards A. And that's where the stack and rotation is.
Yep, that worked out beautifully. Nitro finding a really big frag there.
Oh, Nitro has to look at long here.
Yeah, someone's got to look at long. If not Nitro, I mean, he does have the AWP. It would make the most sense. And in fact, he is going to hold this angle.
They're saving. That's it. They've made the save call.
Yeah, there's just not enough time. You're exactly right, Chad.
They had the number advantage there. Electronic lurking into the B bomb site on his own gets taken down. Then they're forced to go towards the A site.
And you know, for Team Liquid, they do have that one map cushion. So, I mean, I guess going into this one, they can have that sort of ease of mind, but it's not going to win them the game. However, putting more rounds on the board will. 5-4 your score right now for Team Liquid. Playoff contentions in mind, and they're going to take a timeout to mull it over.
Yeah, I think this is a... Oh, it is a technical timeout according to the lower third there. I'm going to sit and talk through their options because this is a very back and forth affair. 3 rounds on the trot for Liquid to start the game. 3 in response from NaVi, and now we're finding ourselves just back and forth. Teams happy to force buy, teams happy to buy around save weaponry.
Madrin there, the most recent addition alongside of Stewie2K, we talked about, former Liquid player, returning now in the coaching role. Just something else to add on top of the dinner table. Liquid looking strong and one of the favorites to prevail in this stage. Now, it would appear as though NaVi, with this sort of buy that we have in front of us...
Could be the B explosion again behind the Molotov.
Could be the B explosion, very much so, Chad. Simple with this AWP. Gonna try to get the pick. He has spotted the player there in Stewie2K, and he does, in fact, find the frag. That is the opening that NaVi needed to get in this B bomb site. But the transition is already in play. It's gonna be Elige. He does have the AUG, he does have the door, and potentially a decent angle. That smoke's gonna prove that to not be the case. Asks for the flash, does get it, grabs 2, but Simple's there to return fire. Take Elige out.
Massive impact there, but Flamey had a chance to finish the round right there. Unable to connect. NaV will get in with the Famous, and now the plant has to go down on the B bomb site. The retake is possible, but Simple still lives. They're gonna smoke off tunnels, but Simple is back a platform.
Man. You could tell they want to go for this. They just don't know how entrenched NaVi is. They want to try to go through this window area, perhaps split the door. And Simple gonna have a great angle for that shot, but Nitro's gonna have an even better one, taking down Simple. And what a marvelous showing, what a marvelous display there from Nitro. They're on the bomb already, and Zeus can do absolutely nothing. As the Glycerin has prevailed here, the Liquid will continue to flow.
Bit unlucky there for Zeus. I like the play who was going to jiggle around that smoke and hope that they expected him to be towards tunnels where it was smoked on off, but they are going to catch a glimpse of him. They will take him down. And now another round on the board as Liquid are attempting to stabilize here. They've had 2 on the trot, giving themselves a chance to slowly build an economy. The double AWPs will come out now for Liquid. In the hands this time for Stewie2K and NaVi. I want to keep talking about this point. Liquid have 4 players on this roster who are more than happy to pick up the AWP. NaVi, Stewie, Nitro does it as out of utility, and sometimes necessity, and Twists.
That's just another layer to the complexity of kind of understanding what this Liquid lineup has to offer, right? If all of these guys can pick up the AWP, and they're all known for taking duels, and they're all known for being sharpshooters, that's just one more aspect to be scared of, I suppose.
Just quickly, Trace, you mentioned complexity.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was hoping we'd get some sort of B stream up here. What do you got for us, Chad?
Complexity went on to win the first map, 22-19 over NRG, who are now 1 map away from getting knocked on out. And NaVi, 1 pixel away from getting that kill. Forced back into the site, he will find one. Flashed up now, has to flash of his own. The teammates are there to back him up as a Liege over the shoulder. Able to pivot and stop this attack before it even started. Zeus, last alive again, picks up a scout, will get a tag, but right now all he's playing for is stats because not a lot you can do.
Not a whole lot you can do. They did throw that Molotov to kind of, push that advance back, but at the end of the day, NaVi said, you know what, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna try to go through it. And that didn't prove to pay out. I don't think they anticipated to have an AUG on the other side, but maybe they did. 7-4, and I said the Liquid keeps on flowing, as well as delivering. Timeout now, taken from the side of NaVi. Understand that things are starting to spiral a little bit, but they are, in fact, not going to have that much money and really anything to put together a good buy of anything decent, I suppose.
NaVi with the pause now. They definitely need to come up with a new style of attack. They did have some success when they did the pounce through the Molotov on the B bomb site, traded efficiently, forced Liquid to save. Their pistol round was quite fast on the mid to B. Zeus had success getting out long and finding some picks. But this is so spawn dependent on a lot of the strategies you can call, right? If your star players don't get long spawns, then you don't really feel as comfortable, especially a team that's so top heavy like NaVi.
Right. Well, what they've had to do here is Flamey's going to pick up a Deagle, Zeus with an ump. We got 1 Galil on the board and 2 AKs in Simple and Edward. Meanwhile, the double op setup of Liquid could prove to be ferocious, might I say. Well, taking that lower B control will be Natus Vincere. And actually all of mid control, which should give them the flexibility. We do know they have like to work their way up catwalk time and time again. Or they like to see if Simple can potentially get out middle and find an opening for them. But right now, what they've invested in this round should be pretty interesting. I mean, they do have 5 flashes and 5 smokes, Chad. What are they going to do with those?
It looks like they want to go for that cat execute again. Once they get control, throw the wall of smokes out onto the A bomb site, try and isolate the AWP player. See if they can get an extra bit of free territory. There's some cool one-way smokes you can drop on that elevator box to allow yourself to fight over the top of it. But this time they're postured more forward. Twist is holding along all on his own, whereas NaVi actually has a Liege close on up to throw utility and aid, and you're going to see how that plays out. Takes the shot, Liege throws the nade. They both reposition now. And look at this, the Molotov's going to land, which will stop the attack. Even if they want to drop CT spawn, it's not going to be so easy as Zeus. He's going to make his way down. Now they've isolated the rotation.
He's done it, though, but those shots are going to ring out like the war drums, Chad. And now, Liquid are going to have to play this to perfection. They're going to have these 2 players pinching from upper B tunnels, and it's only a matter of time before they shoot Stewie in the back. But instead, it's going to be Nitro that catches one in the back, and, well, after having exchanged kills, he did manage to kill Edward. Now, in this retake, Chad, it's kind of hard to forecast. I mean, Twist.
There's a dark play coming in here. That has to be the key. through tunnels. These two players outside the doors just have to distract. Twist has to make this kill if they want a chance. He's not going to get it done as Electronic stands tall. Naf gets offered up Flamey, but when he gets dinked down to 2 HP, he's going to think better of going for this one. Simple wants the frags. He's out for blood. They've gone through window.
Oh my goodness, they have committed to the project, and the spam is just not there. Elige does get the kill, but he knows it's too late. Time has ticked away, and that bomb's going to explode whether they like it or not. They can't save the AWP, and NaVi will pick up the round. And that, you're exactly right. That kill there in the tunnels, that was the kill. That had to happen.
I'm very surprised we haven't seen Team Liquid go for more aggressive plays, boosting the AWP up Cat, letting him go for a pick towards middle, maybe even going for a lower dark push, because the AWP hasn't really had an opportunity to be too much in play right now for NaVi because their economy has been so restricted. But instead, they're happy to give up map control and take the duels. If you're going to do that, if you're going to rely on your individuals and just keep playing cookie cutter, there's nothing wrong with that because Liquid have so much firepower. But if they keep getting bullied, if they keep getting beaten, as this hard long comes in, they're going to have to adjust.
Seems as though NaVi want to keep them guessing, especially in this moment. The weaponry is what it is out here for Liquid, and Simple will win the first exchange of gunfire, and in a hail of gunfire indeed. Flamey also grabbing one there onto Twist, so the numbers have actually not gone in favor of Team Liquid. 3 members alive here, Elige, Naf, and Stewie. Stewie is all the way over there on the other side of the map, having not had any sort of firefight of his own go on just yet. It's going to be NaVi that backs out along. It looks like they might actually want to take it over there towards B, or perhaps peek down middle and see if they can catch someone rotating or out of position. But it looks like that B side is going to be heavily favored here, Chad.
Yeah, it makes sense because if Stewie just grabs one, even if he gets 2 and goes down, it's a 2v2 post plan on this B bomb site. It's quite easy to lock on out. Elige's close, but he doesn't have any utility to aid Stewie with. He's just going to have to get on the scene as quickly as he can. Zeus has actually opted to go down through the middle corridor, and we can see Electronic starting to deviate in that direction as well. B would have definitely been a wise port of call, but they've definitely bolstered that defense as Elige is drawn on over by that lurk smoke. It's all going to be on Naf on Catwalk here.
Even Flamey getting out here into the B site is not exactly the opening that NaVi's banking on. They're banking on this catwalk take, and meanwhile, Flamey's going to go ahead and put some damage into the B site. 2 big frags, though, for Liquid. However, Elige is the only one alive. The man that seemingly has a plan here. He's going to go try to work his way through CT spawn, Molotov'd off, so he can't get necessarily as close as he would like. But that would have been the big shot to hit. That would have definitely kept him in contention of this round. And
they're going to hear it.
That Molotov, actually, yeah, you're right, Chad. That sound cue. He's going to spot Zeus.
Whoa. I guess they're not going to hear it. And the long-range whiff from Elige there. If he had made that kill onto Electronic, he could have isolated the duel on the site. That 1v1 was more than possible.
Yep. That's just not how it all went down, Mr. Burchill.
No, it's a very back-and-forth nature in both of these maps right now. NaVi keep finding solutions for the puzzle that is Liquid. Now I really expect something unique to come out from Liquid because their economy is in a very bad position. They either can take a save here and opt to go for a buy round on round number 15, the last round of the game. And that is what's going to happen, of the half, not the game.
Of the half.
We have 16 rounds to win. 15 rounds and a half.
Yes, the number check out. You're right.
I was never the best at maths.
Same. Not even the quick ones. But the quick ones are simple. And he's able to put NaVi into an early advantage here in this game as they just sort of speed through that round. Not a whole lot to show for Team Liquid. 4 alive on the side of NaVi, 7-7 the score. And having won the first map already, Team Liquid want to win this last round, understandably. They're going to buy up what they can. Does like a little bit of utility here, and they do have the option of the kit, except for that's not going to be the purchase. Nitro being the last one to have swiped his card there at the old buy menu. No kits going into this round. And Electronic pushing at a fury pace.
Oh, this is quick.
Down mid. Very fast indeed. The flashes did go through, and in fact, they seem very effective, very successful. It's just not something that they felt comfortable capitalizing on, it seems.
Look how early they're able to get cat control, right? When you're able to do this versus a team, you can milk out the utility much quicker because now they have to use it knowing your presence is merely there. They've left the A-bomb site with only 2 defenders, Twist anchoring long and Nap over towards that car position. Elige has to be worried about the mid to B because we've seen it be so effective thus far for NaVi. That means he's going to be over towards that site with Nitro and Stewie. But as we can see right now, the majority of the attack is over towards this catwalk position. Edward is defaulting outside long, making sure nobody can push for free information. Flamey watching Upper Dark doing the exact same job, just on the other side of the map.
And still where this bomb is, they can traverse. They can still do whatever it is that they want to do, and hedging their bets towards B is what Liquid is going to be doing. 3 players there.
Bomb is heading through T-spawn right now, so this is a great read. Or a great gamble.
It's a great read. One more over of a Novel's tail. NaVi trying to secure this last round of the half, and 4 members there in upper B halls.
Here we go, they're setting up a pounce. Smoke's gonna come in. There's already been 1 lurk smoke thrown from Flamey. A second means there has to have been another player within the tunnels. Now Simple's gonna try and go mid to B on his own. Oh, he just made a lot of noise.
Somehow, Stewie's still able to grab one there in that. Yeah, it's just all over the place right there. You have to think about the push, and for what it's worth, Liquid do come out the victors in that round, Chad. 4 alive, and they made it look relatively easy for what was an up and down half.
Blistering hot end to that game, back and forth throughout. All in all, Liquid once more, winning the half 8-7. We want to see how their T side finishes this one off as we kick on over to the break. We'll see you all soon.
CSGO Major Championship reads correct. If you're just joining us, you picked the very, very best time to do so. Liquid trying to regain control here in a dominant fashion. Of course, they do have an 8-7 lead currently, but they cannot sit comfortably at that. Team Liquid taking on Natus Vincere in what will be a playoff berth match, and one that will net the winner on the opposite side of the bracket from Astralis. Now, ahead of us, we do have a pistol round here, and it's going to be Team Liquid starting on this T side, looking like they want to draw some attention over here to the B site, Chad.
Yeah, Yeah, that's the standard lurk smoke we always get seen thrown by. The default are always on that part of the map, but on the pistol round, it's a little bit more unique. They want to explode through this with a flash. It's going to come in. Simple's close.
Real close. Too close for comfort. In fact, so close that they're all bumping into each other here in the smoke, and it's going to be Liquid coming out on top so far. Twist in a big way.
Obliterate.
3 massive Glock kills for him. And that will, in fact, rain on the parade of Nodus Vincere, trying to hold it together here in this pistol round. Not the start they were looking for. Edward left alive in the upper tunnels, and there's just not much that he can do. 22 HP, and he's about to run into Twist. A 4K for him on the round. All headshots, all beautifully placed. And that guy is as cool as the underside of the pillow in which that hair came from.
Love to see this kid in action. One of the most exciting players in all of Counter-Strike right now. He just continues to deliver. The pistol round. What better place to do it than a pivot point for this second half?
Absolutely. That was a crucial round.
Yeah, it sets Liquid up here on a bit of a pedestal where they can actually set a platform to start stringing some rounds together. Will be the full eco approach coming out from the side of NaVi. I expect them just to be absolutely mopped across the map as the USPs are spread out in a standard formation. Flamey pushes up mid. Will get taken down by Nitro, who's ready and waiting for a play just like that. And the dominoes should fall one after the other. This means that NaVi want to get into the action very early. They want to make sure that they can get a full gun round up as opposed to going for a force buy and hoping to make a miracle happen.
And it would take a miracle indeed. Rather being fiscally responsible is what we'll call it. So they do send 3 players to play predominantly on this B side, having, well, Simple sort of scout out middle. They have given up the sight. And they're hoping to catch someone crossing. Little do they know, no one is in fact crossing at all. All the bullets wasted. All the information there now. They have spotted Nitro to the top of middle. Liquid playing this very, very patiently. They don't want to run into a stack. Little do they know there is actually no one defending that A bomb site as it stands. 5 members alive. Nitro will scale his way up catwalk, and now the remaining 4 members of Liquid will push through long A. Again, pistols only on the side of NaVi. They have not elected to purchase anything in this round, to my knowledge.
This one right here, all you want to do if you're a NaVi player is hope that the UMP can't farm any extra cash. You can hold on to your life. You really don't have anything to gain. Sure, maybe you can get a kill and grab an AK, but that's only if Team Liquid are sloppy. Nitro and Nav, they want to hunt kills exactly like this. That's $600 a pop, and I'm a big fan of cash dollar bills, and so is the Team Liquid side.
And they say cream, Chad, and that's exactly what they mean. Cash ruling everything around.
Don't the cool kids say bread nowadays?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like, there's something about the pop culture and stuff we were talking about, but yes.
I ain't no baker.
Yeah, man. Well, as the baking continues here, the rolling of the dough will be on the side of Team Liquid. They do have just about all the tools they need, but now over on NaVi, we do see a very similar situation. 3 Augs, AWP in Simple's hand, and Zeus with the M4. Liquid taking a page out of NaVi's book here early on in these rounds and really taking control of this middle area. They don't want to find the fight there. It's really awkward for everyone involved. Flamey will be there by himself. He can hear them. Not much that he can do. Molotov's coming out perfectly placed. That was to get Flamey out of position. They heard the sound cues of the Molotov hitting, and now that they know they backed Flamey off, they can kind of start to think about where it is that they want to move forward to.
Yeah, that is a 2-pronged Molotov. It forces it back off the line as Simple hits a huge shot. Twist with the automatic response, and now he's going to push on out to the bridge. Has to take another duel. Will spot one up. Doesn't get the kill, but Elige finishes it off, and now Zeus all alone towards long here. Has to fall back and doesn't even get a chance. Twists unrelenting. That AK constantly battering this NaVi side. We saw what it did late on Mirage. It's doing it again here on Dust2.
Big head to take down there for Simple. The response frag, that is, the trade. And they're going to be conceding this round. Simple and company now keeping their score at 7, while Liquid will advance 1 more. 11 will be the score line, and Twist has taken it upon himself to clear the path for him and the homies. As they have gotten out of the site, they realize that they will not be going for this. And again, 11th round on the board for Liquid. And they're punishing them.
This is a bit of a battering right now. Sure, the scoreline is 11-7, but these rounds have been extremely convincing. NaVi have to take another save right now. They can't invest into this. This should be 12 rounds now on the board for Team Liquid. They might just want to take more of a tactical eco, as Zeus actually has gone for a bit of Kevlar upgrade with the pistol, because the max loss bonus does come 1 round earlier now due to the pistol round loss bonus change.
So maybe they have something in mind here. And that's about the most activated I've seen the coach of NaVi.
Yeah, Kane is very animated right now. This is do or die. If this map falls, NaVi will drop down to the 2-1 position. They will have to play again in another best of 3 to secure their playoff bracket life. Or they have to bring this one right back, steal map 2 away and take us to nuke. It does seem unlikely right now, but you can never count out Simple and Electronic. This NaVi team, they get it done.
Yeah, even Flamey at this point. And would love to see what the plan is here. They do have 4 Deagles, 1 USP. They've tried to put a little bit of aggression there towards long, but to no avail. Naf just barely taking any damage, now down to 85 HP. Meanwhile, Zeus finding a battle of his own and not really having anything to show for it other than the loss of health. It's going to be an all-in on long A from the looks of it. Now, if they start to second-guess themselves, if they start to question whether this is the right move, that will not be a good idea, but...
Different Opera again, though, Tracer.
That's right.
This time round.
No, it's your turn. No, it's your turn.
It just continues to change hands. And what that actually adds as a dynamic is, sure, there's no primary AWPer who's going to do it in the same level as Device. But what it means is it's always showing a unique look. So it's hard to counter-strat. Very difficult to get the finger on the pulse as the AX cube will come in. Molotov smokes, flashes and nades deployed as Flamey stands in one, gets whittled down. Now lingering close. May have an opportunity here, but Liquid seem to think something's up.
Well, something is up, indeed. Flamey is going to be very close to the action, not close enough to secure a kill, and to be up to Electronic with the Deagle in hand. Finds a nice shot placed onto Elysia's dome piece. But Nitro will get the better of him. And you see what Liquid did there. They obviously got all the way into the site. You see all the utility come out, and then they just held. They waited. They wanted to make sure that he caught any sort of weird push or crossfire or anything that NaVi might have been playing, given their monetary and weaponry situation.
It's a good execute when the long control is established like that. The smokes for the cross is important, but the Molotovs to the side equally is important. You don't want players pivoting while you're going up the ramp or pushing through the smoke, so always have to keep an eye on those. This is a faster approach right now. There's a cat smoke for a biff, but Simple finds the opening kill onto Twist. The entry fragger has been dropped as Elige. He's still gonna barrel up as he grabs a smoke. He's gonna drop that very early. This is gonna apply a lot of pressure. Has that SG. We'll use the one-way capabilities of this, but should be known by players such as NaVi.
Zeus pushed up all the way down long now. Will give them some sort of early warning should they flex back, but having already lost Twist is putting them in a difficult position nonetheless. AWP on Stewie. And he's setting himself up for a smoke now.
Oh, this looks like wall smokes here. So what they want to do is they want to isolate Zeus as the solo long anchor. They'll create a wall along the long corridor, throw some pop flashes, clear the close angles. And with Zeus lying behind the doors, he has to hope that Electronic can get there to help him with utility, because he's not going to want to push through that wall of smoke once it lands. You see this about to come on in.
He's turning now.
Fake?
Yes, indeed it is a fake, Chad. And they're going to be running up catwalk with a quickness now. The problem with that is that there are 2 members of NaVi here inside of this A site. They're going to find that out sooner rather than later. Player playing on ramp there, and Electronic finds the first kill on an AF. Does get traded by Stewie's AWP. Meanwhile, Elige walking right through the smoke into the crosshair of Flamey. Stewie still alive and a menace with the AWP, taking down Zeus. A 2v2, Simple and Edward versus Stewie and Nitro. With the bomb plant in hand and catwalk control, just enough catwalk control. This is going to be an interesting retake. Looks like they are going to go for it, but they have no idea where Liquid has entrenched themselves now in the post plant.
Oh, that's a waste of a smoke. That could have been used on the bomb. Edward trying to peer over the top now. He is going to spot one, but the time it's dropping on down. Simple. His duo in this retake has already been taken out of the picture, and Edward, he can only save, but Nitro doesn't want to let that happen. 21 kills, make that 22.
And that's going to be a see you later there, bud. Yes, that's right, Chad. Nitro, 22-7 with 105 ADR in this game. Liquid leading now 13-7 on the second map after having won the first.
This is a very important map for Team Liquid to have in their back pocket. This is a map where they can take the fight to an Astralis as we head further into the tournament. You want to bolster the map pool. You don't want to be playing Astralis on the standards of Inferno, Trains the World, maps where they're very comfortable. Try and throw a bit more of the unusual at them, and Dust2 is still settling into the map pool, surprisingly. A long push will come in. Nitro wants to piece aggressive, but he's going to get taken down by Electronic with the 5-7. He gets one. Twist on the chase. He's not getting in away from Flamey is going to fall as well. And now we have a 3-on-3. This is still possible, though. Look at the HP of Twist right now.
And Liquid didn't want to let them get away with that. They wanted to kind of punish them for that aggression, even though they did lose some members there in the fight. They did not want to see NaVi slip away and even have the possibility of having some weaponry with them. And they have done just that. It's going to be Stewie, Nap, and Twist trying to work their way up long A now. All three together, bomb in hand. It's going to be Zeus on catwalk. Not far behind him will be Simple and Mr. Edward there through the CT spawn area. Twist will be the first line of contact, and Smoke seemingly landing just precisely so that there's no gaps or anything to look under.
NaVi need this round.
NaVi need it big time. That Molotov is not going to be able to push Simple off as he grabs one. Does go for the second. Not needed. Edward and Zeus doing their part. And wow, what a round for NaVi to take.
That's a huge round for them to get if they want to mount any form of a comeback right now. Electronic started it off with 2 massive kills over towards Bedroom at long. And from there, they just stuck as a pack. Simple had to hit that massive deagle shot. Here's what we're talking about.
Yeah, big play here from Electronic. Instrumental in that round, really putting Liquid on the back foot very, very early on. But now we're going to see the double op setup come out on the side of NaVi. Again, trying to mount a comeback, trying to get something going here. Ops in the hands of Flamey and Simple.
That's an interesting dynamic now that the SG is kind of creating. It can be spammed towards mid as the AWP player sets up. Normally, the AWP just takes one shot. You either tag someone through the door or you get lucky through the smoke. Now the Kree did a bit of damage to Simple. It's just menacing. It's frustrating. It's annoying.
It is that, isn't it? Almost as annoying as this is going to be. Electronic playing anti-flash here on catwalk.
Oh, this nade.
He's not by his lonesome. Flamey probably to take this first shot with AWP. And Electronic's going to pivot off that, maybe swing and get one more. But he's going to take the commitment from Liquid to round that corner. Now, grenade coming out. The swing from Electronic a little premature, and Nitro able to take down Flamey. That one did not pan out at all for NaVi. Now Zeus here at long by himself. He's going to have to fall off just a little bit, but, well, he's going to run into Naf if he keeps going that direction.
Oh, no. Zeus is completely locked on in. He's not going to have an opportunity to save here at all.
Yeah, and I don't think that could have gone much worse in terms of how it unfolded on that one. That was a rough one.
See it. Oh, there's a door. That's an escape. That's a chance to get on out of dodge.
Yeah, he's got out of dodge, but Liquid might be getting out of this map with a W. And in fact, that does put a 14th on the board. They are being punished, though. Mind you, it is still very possible for NaVi to run this back, but it's going to be an uphill battle for the rest of this game.
Zeus needs to be careful with that scope because Stewie was relatively close, and I thought he would have been on the hunt. He's going to think better of it, considering 2 of his teammates have fallen, and the Mighty System isn't in the best place possible. But the reset right now comes in for NaVi. I know it was only a pistol upgrade they had before, so they will have a little bit of residual. They will be able to get the full gun round coming on out. They have an SG, 2 AUGs, an M4, and an AWP.
And even more importantly to note as well, there are several timeouts remaining in the game. And these are the times where you think that those would probably come out. If you're the coach, you're probably saying, okay, well, let's recenter, let's refocus, and perhaps level our heads here as we go into the later half of this game.
I like that we keep seeing different faces from Liquid. They're ready to take Cat, now they're ready to go towards B and explode on Flamey.
keeping him guessing.
He's been cooled, you know. He's been forced to rotate as opposed to heads up duels, and now he needs to deliver.
Now he needs to deliver in a big way. Edward's going to find 1-2. Can't seem to get the third on the board, and neither can Flamey. For someone that has been putting up impressive numbers all game long, that is not the case in this instance, but the rotations are coming with a fury. Simple going to go ahead and get in the fight himself. Stewie being on the receiving end of the AWP. Now, as NaV plants the bomb, Elysian is going to have to hold tight, hold fast. And they're going to try to pick them off one by one. They want to see Liquid here make a mistake. They want to see Liquid expose themselves, but all this utility coming from the tunnel is going to draw a lot of attention to that tunnel. They know now that there is a player there, and the two others coming from the outside of the site. That window, it's going to be a push. It's going to be the pincer. And that grenade, just a little bit of damage as well. Big kill by NaV to keep it in their favor. Now down to Simple with the AWP, and this is a round they can't let slip away, and he's going to have to wait it out. He can't hit the shot, and he can't win the round. And more importantly, there's nothing that he can do now, as Liquid do look at map and series point here over NaVi.
1 round away now for Team Liquid, securing their place in the championship bracket. Right then and there, I don't think Zeus realized his lurk smoke was a little bit too deep. There was a gap, and that gap was his demise. Other than that, fantastic utility usage. The Molotov towards back of plat, the nade to follow up, that information given to his team on the retake. Yeah. But with him going down before the other players were in position, meant that the trade potential wasn't there. Now it all rests on Simple on the AWP. Edward with the AUG, who's already been tagged up crossing the mid doors. Simple almost gets taken down, but he'll respond. He'll take down Stewie.
Now, you were talking about that exact scenario, Chad. You said the exact same thing. Have that Krieg hold there, maybe put some spam down, but in this instance, it was Stewie 2K that got punished. Liquid now on match and series point with a man deficit.
Bit of a blunder there as well. They missed the mid-door Molotov, so that means they can't clear Edward out of position. He gets to stand close. We can see that nobody from NaVi is over towards that B-bomb site, so it's an open avenue right now, but you wouldn't expect that. This is a gamble from NaVi.
It is very much a gamble. And for Nitro to be pushed up there on Catwalk does give them somewhat of a flexibility, even if he does just dump all of his grenades over there and try to sell an A hit. It's certainly going to be on this B site, and they're going to run into the Undertaker himself. Backing off just a little bit, maybe a bad read overall. But now when he re-peeks it, he gets a double. That is instrumental in keeping NaVi alive here. That alone could have been a totally different round in the playout. But we're going to see just how that happens. Twist now, 1 versus 4, trying to get something back in the way of Team Liquid as they sit on match point.
Twist can't win this 1v4. This would be
2.
insane. What is going on? Twist with
3.
2 huge kills. He gets the 3rd. There's 1 left over towards window.
Oh my goodness. So close that everyone is feeling just a little uncomfortable right there. Flamey saving the day. And you can see the sigh of relief from Simple on that one. That was just a little close, Chad.
Take a pause, take a breath. I definitely need one. Look at this pinpoint precision. If he had made that kill 1 second earlier onto Zeus.
Or even if he doesn't take the fight.
Oh, boy.
The last guy, I mean, there's just so many what-ifs you could play with right there. That could have been the end of the game. That could have been the end of the series.
What a way that would have been to end it.
Hell yeah. Here we go now. Liquid still with weaponry, but
completely blind.
Erased by Simple himself. The Undertaker is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, you have upset him. You don't want to see Simple when he's angry.
He looks angry all the time in this NaVi team.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But he needs to deliver more so. Going for a second kill, not going to land a Liege. We'll even it up 4v4 now. Score 15-9. NaVi can't falter at any point. Zeus will fall. The A bomb site completely open now. Flamey, the first responder. Up the ramp he goes. As Electronic on the other side of the map will drop. Edward. He's going to push Dark and grab 1, but this is so difficult. Trace. The bombs drop mid-ramp.
But that Molotov takes Edward out of the round. Flamey being the only member alive here for Nodus Vincier. Elysian Twist now have to recover this bomb. Little under a minute left on the clock. They have an AWP and 2 smokes to work with. It'll be very interesting to see how they play this. The right thing to do here is to probably try to trade off of one another. but not knowing Flamey's position has them a little uneasy. And if he does this just right, which he has thus far, he's taken down Twist. He's gonna look for the other one, and that is how it all ends. Elige puts a cap in Flamey, and Liquid keeping it alive here in Katowice, have secured the 3-0 and will be going through to the playoffs on the opposite side of the brackets from Astralis. A double victory, some might even call it, and a great showing for Stuart 2K and Adren here for their showing at the Katowice Major.
Crisp aim throughout Team Liquid, showing why they were given the second seed in this tournament, why they're one of the big names who could potentially rival Astralis at this major. But let's let the desk break this one down.
That's the plan, thank you so much. We can see NaVi a little dejected conceding that one, especially in the fashion by which they did on map 2. Certainly pushed all the way on the first, but despite resilience in the first half of Dust2, it's the second where it starts to slip away from them, and we do have the brains behind this brigade, none other than Sean Gers and Pimp to talk about that one. 3-0, folks. Sean, North America with a seamless run.
Yeah, and they're on the opposite side of the bracket as Astralis, which is the best thing that Liquid could ask for in this major, advancing through now with the #2 seed. This was just such a vintage Liquid grind out game with this roster. They lost actually the opening duel battles 15-10 in this matchup. Simple went 8 for 1 in opening duels.
In a loss like that, testament to what Simple can do. They said he's always angry, and he certainly did perform fantastically. There's no doubt about it. We do have Twists, though, on the stage. We get to hear from the victor. Locked in, 3-0 for the champion stage.
Well, Stewie, congratulations on that win. Now, you are a team that's known to prep for your opponents, so how did you take down NaVi? What was the plan?
We just prepared like we usually do. We're really good versus NaVi. I don't remember the last time we lost to them, but they always play well versus us. And yeah, we kind of just knew how the veto was going to go, and we prepared for the maps.
Is this the dawn of a slower paced Liquid?
Kind of. Since Jake joined the team, we've kind of changed our play style a bit, and I think it's really good. All of us are more versatile, and I think this play style is really utilizing all of our skills.
And what about your play style? That was a blinder of a match for you, Twist. How do you stay cool under the pressure and get those frags home?
I mean, I'm just doing what I'm usually doing. Not much changed. I'm the B Apartments player now at Mirage, so it's something I gotta get used to. But I'm just doing what I usually do still.
You mentioned the crowd in Katowice. Are you excited to go to the Spodek next week?
Yeah, of course. It's probably the biggest crowd in Counter-Strike. And last time, we got knocked out in the semifinals versus Fnatic. But this time the crowd's gonna be hopefully on our side, and we're gonna take home the trophy.
Talking of getting knocked out in the semi-finals, now last time at the major, we saw you getting knocked out in the semis by Astralis. They're on the opposite side of the bracket to you this time. Are you going to be the bride this time in the finals or the bridesmaids?
I think so. I'm kind of hoping for an Astralis matchup. I know it's always fun for us to play and fun for the people to watch. And I think this is the year where we prove ourselves.
Fun guaranteed from the Liquid guys. Let's head back to the desk because I know they're itching to break that round down.
That's the plan for sure, yes. Twists as well, just talking and reflecting upon their what has been a rise to power, certainly has, and saying that this is their year. I like the words of confidence coming out from Twist, especially with the top of the scoreboard performance like that.
And as you said, he was showing it on the server as well. He did mention that he was playing the B-Apps area towards Mirage, and that is a new thing for Twist, and it's a great thing to see a young player like him can take on a new role, allowing Stewie to feel a little bit more comfortable for the Liquid guys. So again, you know, another display added to this Liquid lineup. I do want to point out that we saw here on Dust2 as well, I think Liquid only had combined for 5 flash assists throughout that entire game. That tells quite the story about how much of a heads-up game they played.
Damn.
It's all about the individuals, all about the aim, and once again, we do praise Twist a lot, but Nitro having one hell of a game as well. He's the in-game leader for Liquid.
This wasn't always the case, right? Jog my memory, Sean. Nitro, he's always been acknowledged as a fragger.
Yeah.
He hasn't always been a leader, but he was acknowledged as a fragger. But there was a less conversation surrounding his fragging ability as soon as leadership started to do what it does.
He did hit a little bit of a slump in the past when he took over the in-game leading abilities, but now it seems like he's flourished that opportunity as in-game leader and opper for the team. He puts up some serious numbers when you watch this Team Liquid play.
Yeah, and I'm sure I mean, there's no one better to talk about the pressures of in-game leading and how it can affect your gameplay than, of course, yourself there, Sean. It is a conversation for another time, though, as those highlights do start to come to a close, as does the day. A bit of a B-Stream update for you, though. Do be aware that there is another game going on right now, which means we don't have the Siege. We can't show you the next round because of NRG complexity. It went into, was it triple? Was it quadruple overtime, Map 1?
Triple OT, I believe.
Triple.
OT.
Triple overtime on Nuke. And complexity are 1-0 up in that series, so I highly recommend that you spend the rest of your evening, if you are craving more Counter-Strike, seeing how that one is shaping up. We do have a little bit of an update from round 3, though, from what we have witnessed so far. 2 teams, and no surprise, number 1 and number 2 seed, Astralis and Liquid, did manage to prevail, and they'll be comfortable with some days off to practice and prepare for Champions.
It wasn't without a fight against Renegades, though, Astralis managed to go through. I think they had great honor in that game. They were able to take a map off Astralis. Nobody expected that. Also able to pressure them on Nuke. That was very well played by Renegades. Whereas for Team Liquid, we just saw it ourselves. They're coming in here. They're, for the first time in this tournament as well, looking sharp. They're looking foiled to go through to this tournament. So good showing by Liquid, decent showing by Astralis. They get 6 days off, I believe, before they play again.
So who is in Vitality's section? 2 wins. So there's a Vanguard's there.
NIP will be there.
NIP and...
MIBR?
Oh, MIBR?
MIBR, yeah.
Okay, yeah, MIBR at the top there. Okay, so now I can get my head around it. Interesting, interesting. Wow. Okay, so there's going to be some very big games tomorrow, Sean. We've got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of interesting matchups in the 2-1 right there. I can't believe the teams that we've already seen exit the event so far. Big left us today.
Yeah, we've actually, that's a really good point. We haven't touched on the teams we waved goodbye to, and it was a big one, pun not intended. A full 3-map slog versus Ents, though. I mean, did you catch any of that action, Jacob?
We were watching some of it downstairs in the green room while watching another match as well, but what we did get to see was that Big were struggling in the pressured situation, right? They had all chances of winning that game against Ents, but they just weren't able to. That said, though, Ents is by no means a bad team, and they have shown some stable and they've shown a good foundation, but I mean, Big coming in with Shantaris, coming in with a lot of expectations surrounding the lineup, just not able to deliver when it mattered the most. That gotta be a little bit disappointment, not only for them, but also for the German scene in general.
Yeah, very short trip for Big Clan, and I mean, Ents by no means are out of the woods yet. They're going to have a bit of a tough reverse sweep ahead of them, and let's not forget, not the only team eliminated today, NRG, Complexity. Go check it out. It's on the B stream now, because we're going to go ahead and say goodnight. Thank you for hanging out for another day here at the IEM Katowice 2019 Major. I've been your host, Machine. That's Jacob. That's Sean. And that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you tomorrow.